Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm here after 2 weeks spent with this beautiful 2007 Mercedes-Benz E550 sedan. I was really supposed to just have it just for a weekend, but I ended up having it for 2 fun weeks of driving this car. And it was a joy to drive. It really surprised me in a lot of different ways. A few quirks in there, but here's a quick clip of me driving it. This V8 is really nice. It's not even in sport mode. I'm putting it in sport mode there. This car is bipolar. This is nice. It's hitting the corners really tight. I could push it a bit more, but I'm not. You know what? What the hell? Let's go for it. Sure, it's a fun car, but would I own it? No. It's a 13-year-old V8 engine that will require a lot of maintenance and a lot of money to upkeep this car. It's a 382 horsepower V8 engine. Gets this car 0 to 60 4.9 seconds. I was getting like around 5, which is good. Love this car. It's a pleasure to drive this car, but my favorite feature in terms of driving is the ability of this car to go from comfort to sport mode with a push of a button. The car lowers, the suspension tightens up, and you're flying down the road from just comfy cruising. All of a sudden you feel like you're in a race car. Speaking of race cars, here's another clip of me enjoying this car on the road. Hey guys, so I've actually had this car for about 2 weeks now, and it's basically just driving back and forth doing random errands. But today I finally was the first day I got to put it on the road, local roads here with little traffic. Car's a joy to drive. And I was thinking about this while I was driving. This is actually the second oldest car I've driven. The first being my old E46. Driven at 14 years old, and this car is 13 years old this year. This is actually a 2007 car. I thought it was a 2008, 2009, but 13 years, and it's still a joy to drive. We've had a lot of Mercedes, and I've never had a Mercedes as sporty as this, when you want it to go sport, but also as luxurious as this. I'm in comfort mode, and I'm going over these bumps, and it's so lofty. It's like I'm flying on a magic carpet kind of over air. This air suspension is really, really good. If you want to go sport, or if you want to just go comfort all the time. And in our other cars, we've usually ever kept it on comfort, the Mercedes we've had, because the sport mode was never really a real sport mode. So that's what makes this car bipolar. It's like, you want to go sport, you can. You want to go comfort, you can. And it's going to be real comfort and real sport. There's no like watered down version of the two choices there. Hey guys, sorry for the voiceover. There's a lot of noise also in the original audio of this video. Anyway, back to the car. So this V8 engine was, at the time in 2007, it was top of the pack, and the only competitor closest to it was the BMW 550i. And Car and Driver did a detailed article comparing the two cars, as well as there was an Infiniti and I believe a Cadillac that was thrown in the mix. But the Mercedes and the BMWs were the two top of the pack in this category. And this surpassed the BMW according to that article, in that the BMW was always sporty. The BMW 550i, it was just a BMW all the time. There's no pulling back for luxury. On the Mercedes E550, you had that luxury as well as sportiness. This split the two down the middle. Here I'm looking at the Star, and I'm talking about that Star exudes that luxury and that importance of luxury. And let's get back inside the cabin and show you what I mean about luxury. So quiet to drive. It's just a silent car. I just drove through some heavy traffic. I didn't really hear much of it. And like I said, it comes back to that luxury of this car. It just feels when you're driving. I want you to feel as I'm driving how this feels. I'm going over some very rough road. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but normally in my car I'd be hearing the road. I feel the road, but that's the point of BMWs. You feel the road, whether it's good or bad. You feel everything. But this, you put it in comfort mode, it just seals everything out from around you, and you're sealed into your own world. And I think this is how this is what rich people like, I guess. I'm not rich, but I assume it's a good feeling to have. I would love to have this car, like if I drove in a city, like an urban area with a lot of like honking and congestion and traffic. Very cool. And whatever is blowing, something's blowing like a nice fresh scent through the vents. I believe it's that little gadget under the armrest. It smells really good, so it's like I'm in a spa basically. This car my wife would love, not me, not so much. I kind of like to feel the road. I like to feel what I'm doing. I like to feel what the car is doing. I like that feedback, that instant feedback that you get addicted to when you drive the older BMWs. I don't think the newer BMWs do that anymore. But one of the beauties of this car is that you could put it in a sport mode and get into that like feeling the road again. But I just want you guys to experience. This is like such a quiet cabin here. It's really quiet. I'm going over bumps, manhole covers. I'm not even feeling it. I'm not hearing it. And I believe these cars have run flat tires in them, which is amazing. That it's just, the suspension is just so good. We've had those newer cars. Albeit, I will say, when you get inside a car like this 2007 Mercedes-Benz, it feels dated. It feels like your grandfather's Mercedes-Benz, like a great uncle Mercedes-Benz. It does have that feel to it, but once you start, you put the key in ignition, you start it up, you drive. It's a fun car to drive. Very expensive to own a car like this. The aromatic suspension is actually one of my favorite components of this car. It does make the car feel like you floated in air. It was already replaced by the owner, and it was something like $5,000 by the dealership. I'm not sure if you replaced it on the warranty or not. This car does only have 22,000 miles, so it's a fairly low mileage car for the age of the car. But aromatic suspension system was already replaced, and that was like $5 grand. I can't imagine the V8 engine or anything else that needs issues in this car is going to be very expensive to keep. But if you have money and you want one of these in your garage as a collector's car, go ahead and do it. This is the epitome of old school Mercedes. They don't make cars like this anymore. I've heard that said, and it's very much true. Around town where I live in Westchester, a lot of old white men saw this car and they're like, oh my God, they haven't seen that in such a long time. The condition of this car, it was garage its entire life. They really liked it. I actually almost got a couple offers to buy this car. It's not my car to sell, but I'm sure if the owner wanted to sell this car, he'll sell it like that, like in a snap. And everyone's buying used cars now in New York and the rest of America. So this car would sell in an instant if you put this car in the market for maybe 15 to 20,000, depending on what a buyer would want to pay for this car. In the condition it's in, it is a black and black. And one of the things this car made me realize, I won't mind driving a black and black car. I've always said I don't like black and black, but this car made me, I wasn't aware of it. So let's get inside this car and let's take a closer look. Show you guys the trunk. One of the things I love about this trunk, it actually has a button there. I haven't seen that in a sedan yet. The E550 badge there, really nice. And this car is a 4MATIC car. Show you guys the rims. Get in the rear of the car. What I like about the rear here is you have vents up here on the door pillars, which is really nice. You also have climate controls here, 2 zones if you want, for your backseat passengers. Speakers in the seat, really nice. Old school Mercedes. I'm not sure if the newer Mercedes have these. You have little ashtrays. You could tell this car, that's what makes cars like these dated, like they have ashtrays in them, which is kind of cool. Double sunroof in the back, really nice sunroof. All the lighting you could have. And this is a good, like if you're Uber driver and you want to like impress your passengers on a budget, this car isn't so bad. And you have full visibility of the steering wheel and stuff like that. Looking at the steering wheel, And let's just show you guys a bit of the front cockpit. Steering wheel is really big. It's one of the biggest steering wheels I've ever driven with. Even bigger than the SUV we had. The GLE steering wheel was not that big. And this is maybe a testament to the older style cars. The sportiness meant big wheels and stuff like that. Navigation is really old. That only works, it only comes on with the radio. So when you hit that power button there, I'll show you guys close up. There's a power button there. That turns on the navigation screen, but also the radio. There's no way you could have the radio on, the radio off, and the navigation on. It's weird. The only thing you could do is turn the volume down with the radio, which is why I'm shooting this with everything off, because I don't want copyright infringement, because that radio will be on. I'm gonna go in the front seat in a minute, but this is what the view from the back passenger seat. Lots of room back here. I'm 5'8" tall. My head isn't even touching the roof. Show you guys what yeah, my head isn't even touching the roof. I'm 5'8" tall, and that's kind of what it is. It's very, very comfortable. The headrest comes up in the back if you want that. You also have the rear sunshade behind me, and lots of greenhouse lighting coming in from this back window here. Another thing I like is the ripple effect of the leather in the door. It's really nice. It's like, it's designed that way. It may look like it's wrinkled, but I like how it has a texture. It's really nice. The wood grain is really nice as well. Around the front. These are not powerful mirrors. They're regular folding mirrors. I did some under the hood before. I don't think I'm going to go under the hood. It's just a big V8 engine. I don't know much about the engine of this car. I'm going to put the specs of the horsepower below. The headlights are really nice. Like I said, the split bi-xenon headlights, a very dated look of Mercedes. Now they have the one unit there. The grill is the luxury grill. It's not the sport grill where the emblem is inside the grill. And like I said, I love these emblems. And my wife pointed out that they don't put the emblems on the hood anymore for, I guess, for most cars. So when older white men see this, they're like, oh, that's classic Mercedes. And you also have the shield right there, which is cool. I like the lining up of that as well. Coming around the driver's side. The sunroof is all glass. This is the panoramic sunroof. So even all the 4 panels on this roof is glass. I'm sorry, there's 3 panels. So it's the front panel there, glass, and then you have the back windshield. And let's get in. One of the things took me a while to realize, my wife did mention that this car would have had a push start button. So with the key in my hand, what's cool is the push start button is actually, it's very, that's why you don't see it, because it's such a matte, it's such a shiny, glossy thing. It's right there. So what I'm going to do is just get in the car, the keys in my hand or in my pocket, push start that, and the car starts right up, which is so cool. Kick it in a drive. Like I said, the navigation screen is going to come on, but I'm going to turn it down because I don't want copyright infringement. So you can only have these 2 things on with the radio on. So it's just weird. When you turn the radio off, that screen comes on. And in a car like this from 2007, navigation was probably a secondary feature that people were looking at when buying a car. Let's stick the key in there so I don't lose it. You can also stick the key in there if you want. So yeah, navigation was a secondary feature on a car. So it wasn't a big deal for people buying this car. One of my biggest gripes is there's no armrest here. The cup holder is actually there and your arms rest on like a hard surface there. Not really keen on that. So there's no real armrest there. That's what you saw, the pillow there. There's also limited cup holders, just those 2 things. And there's something here that the owner has. I think this, sorry, that's like a Mercedes-Benz scent thing. So it squirts like some sort of like, it's a nice cologne smell through the AC vents. I don't know how that works, but it's really cool. And a coin tray there, which is really weird. It took me a while to figure out what that was. And you also have a hidden CD, DVD drive tray, and that comes up really cool. I could tell that's gonna break soon. So you have a 6-disc player, which is cool. And to close this, you push this button. Very nice touch. More ashtray stuff, if you're, I guess, old school, legacy of ashtrays. One of the biggest gripes, another gripe I had was, I don't know why the real estate, such big real estate is invested towards a clock there. It's very interesting. I don't know why that would be the time, you know. So it's very interesting, but it is 12:20 p.m. in a day, and that's the mileage information of the car. Like I said, I've been driving this for 2 weeks now, and that's where my fuel level is, about halfway. So 12 miles a gallon might seem like intimidating, but it's not bad if you're careful. If you're a regular driver, you're not racing every 2 seconds, it's not so bad. All the seat controls are in the door. No powerful mirrors here, but you could adjust the mirror. The lighting is weird. It comes out for the fog lights, rear fogs, front fogs there. I demonstrated that in my previous video of this car. And that's pretty much it. One of the best features of this car is the ventilation system. You have driver vents here, and as well as the vents there. Normally this is used for defrosting, but this is also used for AC, which is kind of cool. One of the gripes that people complained about this car back in 2008 was the AC system is really loud. It is really loud, but it's very cold, ice cold. So I'm gonna do some driving videos of this car, and as you see, you can see the emblem right there as you drive, so it reminds you what car you're driving. And this is a really big steering wheel for me to maneuver. And that's the thing about this wheel. It's not the sportiest wheel, but when you do put the car in the sport, you do have some appointments for the sport settings here. So CS puts you in the sport or comfort, and you could raise or lower the suspension, which is also automatically raised with the sport button, lowered or raised depending if you're in sport or comfort. And this is something that broke with the owner, and it costs about $5,000 for Mercedes to replace the entire system. And that happened. This car has 22,000 miles, I believe. My wife was telling me it happened about maybe a couple years ago when the car had maybe a little over 10,000 miles that went. So it wasn't cheap to replace. So if you get one of these cars, look into see if that was replaced, or if you're gonna have issues with that in the future, because this is a $5,000 dealer thing to repair. I'm not sure if shops would do that. That's the the passenger seat in the front passenger seat, really nice. Lots of greenhouse from the sunroof. Love that. White mirrors, I like that. The white paint, white plastic mirror, which is really cool. And that's pretty much it for this car. It's a fun car to drive for the 2 weeks we've had it. Would I buy it? No, hell no, I will never buy this car, because I know it costs me as much as the car to maintain this car with a V8 engine. Don't ever buy a V8 engine on an older car. I see a lot of people do it because they think it's cool. They think you're gonna have a fast car, but you can have a fast car for a couple of days before you have to repair something on it. Overall, I'm not a Mercedes guy, I'm a BMW guy, but this car was a fun car to drive. I'm coming out of my driveway now, and I'm just gonna get onto this busy road. That's the worst thing about houses on double line roads. It's coming out your driveway is just a nightmare every time. So you can see the acceleration that I have going on here. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's my review for this car. It's not very often I get to review another car other than a BMW or something I own. So it was a pleasure having this car to review. I have to thank the owner very much for having us borrow this car for the time we've had it. It was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Supposed to say that YouTube wants us to say that as content providers. More quality stuff coming up in the fall. Is the end of August. Have a lot more stuff on my plate. I have a lot of old videos I recorded over the summer that I have to finish editing and putting up on YouTube. See you guys in the next one. It's been fun.